Have you heard about the new Lily Cup? It has been everywhere. It's been on the news. It was huge on Kickstarter, Facebook, sponsored ads on Facebook. It was even playing in front of my YouTube videos about menstrual cups, so you probably have seen it. I got one a little early and I've been testing it, so I will tell you all about how it worked for me and who it should work for well and who it won't. Here's a couple things you need to know about the Lily Cup Compact. Just go ahead and start with the push down fold before you try anything else. It gives you something to push on because it pushes this down. If you find that the stem is still too long, although this is one of the shortest cups that I've seen, when you're trimming, be careful, because if you trim too far down, you might be hitting inside. There's a hole and it goes farther down than just the tip. You're going to cut a hole into your cup. Or the compact clamshell case that it comes with is kind of hard to open, but the good news is if you're worried about it sitting and getting gross and no air circulation, it has tiny little holes. When you put it in to fold it, the good news is that it doesn't fold as you're inserting it, that I've really found, but you need to use both fingers to just sort of walk it down. And that's how compact it gets. If you're having leaks, especially as you're first trying this, please wear some sort of liner for your own sake, because any cup, if you're a first-time cup user or this is a new cup to you, it might leak. So go ahead and wear some protection for that. The first question everyone is already wondering is, does it collapse when it's inside of your vagina? It does not. Is it hard to collapse, believe it or not? By just pushing, it won't collapse. Now it does move. It is a very soft and malleable silicone. So you do have to very strategically work at it and pinch and then push for it to collapse, which is great because you don't want it collapsing while you're trying to insert it. But it does still bend, and that is a concern. So we'll try to go in order so that everything makes sense. Does not collapse while it's inside of you. However, insertion can be an issue. When you're inserting a menstrual cup, as a person who is not experienced with one, a lot of people start with a C-fold where you push down. But because this is squishy, once you get to the point where you are pushing in, you have not a lot that wants to hold while you're pushing. What this means is that it's really a cup meant for people who are very familiar with menstrual cups in general, also very familiar with what works for them. And so for me, to get this to work, I had to use a push-down fold, which is not my personal favorite, but it works for insertion a little easier because it gives you something a little more rigid to push on. It comes in, and I already have a second one. This one is already compacted and collapsed. So what it really is meant to do is be a very discreet, small menstrual cup that you can fit into a pocket, which I have one right here. So it does slide into a pocket pretty well. In your back pocket if you're wearing jeans, and a very small clutch, maybe for a teen girl who doesn't want to carry a big purse. It does have advantages, of course, because it collapses to a smaller size. Whereas a standard menstrual cup would not quite go to that size, and you would need something a bit larger to put it in, like a pouch that these typically come in or something else. So let's talk about what the Lily Cup is good for and who it's good for. It's very soft, and that means it's very comfortable. Once you have it inserted and you have a good seal, you won't feel it even with the stem, and the stem can rub people the wrong way. So if you want to keep a stem on a cup for easier removal, that's good for you. It also comes in the size 1. This is the case. It's very hard to open, which is kind of good because you don't want it to open at the wrong moment because it is something meant to go in your purse. My gosh. So if you are a teen and you need something quite a bit smaller, this is the size 1 versus the size 2. So diameter-wise, it is smaller. Length-wise, it's really not any smaller. They are the same length, but it holds less. and you might need a smaller one for someone who is 18, who hasn't given birth, who is younger. And lengthwise, if you need something shorter, this is the Diva Cup size 2. This is the Lily Cup size 2. Volume-wise, that's where it gets tricky. If you have a heavier flow, this cup is not going to work for you, or it may only work on your lightest days. If you put the Lily Cup inside of a Diva Cup, I mean, it's not going all the way down, but I mean, you can see that there is significant volume lost when you have this style of cup that needs to collapse upon itself, because it has to notch and go into itself at every level. So you don't have that issue with a standard cup. And I wanted to demonstrate the volume difference, and there is a number to it, but what does that number mean to most people? Doesn't mean a lot. So I'm going to fill up a Diva Cup up to the about half an ounce. So this is the Diva Cup at 15 milliliters or half an ounce. But for that same amount of liquid, it comes to the tippy top right below where you have the holes for securing your seal. The good news is, if you really like this style of silicone, which is the softest silicone you've ever felt, super, super soft, they do offer another regular style cup. It's still a different kind of cup than a Diva Cup, but it is volume-wise going to hold as much as a Diva Cup. It's actually a little bit longer than a Diva Cup, and it has a slanted edge, which can be good. So I really haven't used this enough to say if it's good or bad, but I wanted to throw it out there that if you still want to try something with that really super soft silicone, they do make a different cup. Does it work? Yes and no. As I mentioned, the volume is so much lower in this than a standard cup, and I've always used standard cups, either the Lunate Cup or Diva Cup for the most part, and I use those on my heavier days without a problem. I did have leaks with this on my heaviest days. My first cycle I tried it with, I had some leaks in the beginning, then I had it good for about a day, and then when my heaviest day came on, I had lots of leaks to the point where I really needed almost a regular pad as well as the cup. So I wanted to try it as good as I could for you guys to give my best impression, so I sat and waited for the next cycle to do a video. So we're just out of this next cycle, and I was able to get it leak-free on all my light days. I was able to finally get to where I was very comfortable with inserting with a push-down fold, but on my heavy days, again, I had pretty significant leaking. So I switched back to my regular cup, then went back to a cup, a Lily Cup Compact for the last day and the second kind of semi-leaky day that tends to happen with my cycle. So now you know all about my cycle. It could be a good backup cup for your purse, which is what a lot of people have said. You have something that you can use until you get home, and it would work on that very first. If you start light, then it would be a good backup cup. If you start floodgates, no, it's not going to be a great backup cup for you. So I will try out their other cup because I really want to know if I can love this one because it's a traditional style cup. And just my first impressions, I was able to use it a little bit. It did work perfectly for me so far, just on that little test, but I need to investigate more. You know, it's soft, it's compact, it's got that cool factor. The best part about this cup is that it has brought awareness to menstrual cups in general. People are now really excited about trying these. They're really excited about trying any cup. And, you know, it's always exciting to have people looking into menstrual cups as an option. So before I ramble on, I'm going to wrap up the video and say thanks for watching. If you are needing general menstrual cup information. I will put it up in a box over here. I have a how to insert and remove for people with very general questions like how do I get it out without getting blood all over me, can I do handstands, all that fun stuff. And if you just want an overview of menstrual cups, I will link my very first video about menstrual cups, about everything you need to know. And I hope you enjoy watching those as you go on and discover more about menstrual cups. Thanks for watching. Now, okay, so I will try out. That's on the blooper reel, you guys. Okay.